Hello, and welcome to a special edition of Meeting with the Mayor. I'm Xochitl Mora with the City of McAllen, and joining me for the first time is our newly elected mayor, Javier Villalobos. Welcome, Mayor Villalobos, to MCN Studio.
Thank you so much, Xochitl.
We're really excited to have you here. You started out after winning the runoff election, and you were immediately bombarded with national media requests on your victory and winning the election and what that meant for the City of McAllen. And so we certainly want to talk a little bit about that, but I think obviously what we have recognized and seen for the past several years now is that McAllen has been thrust into the national spotlight because of immigration and border issues. How are you planning on handling that messaging and this issue that McAllen is dealing with, this federal issue?
Certainly, well, it's something that we've kind of always talked about because just like you say, it's a federal issue. And we keep on saying it's not a municipal issue, even though we keep on, I think everybody knows they come, the Border Patrol comes, they pick up the immigrants, drop them off in the downtown area, and then we assist pretty much logistically, and that's about it. Transportation and public safety, because we need to make sure that our residents are safe and also the immigrants. It might get a little ugly. Sochi, we're pretty close to maybe the federal government lifting Title 42. And if they do, instead of us just having kind of the family unit, children, moms, we may be getting everybody. And that's something we're a little concerned because we don't do that, and we shouldn't be doing it. But if we have the Border Patrol dropping off people here in our downtown area, I hope our federal government steps it up and assists them out.
Well, it's certainly an issue that we have been thrust into being responsible for, and it is a delicate balance of doing the right thing, being Christian neighbors, if you will, or helping your neighbor and security. But these people are here in our community, and so the city has responded. But certainly those resources for the city are not limitless. And so, yes, it is a challenge, or it can be a challenge moving forward. So is your goal then to work with our federal elected officials so that they can continue to hear that message that something needs to be done?
And we keep on telling them, Border Trade Alliance, everybody, we keep on telling them, because it just isn't fair. Look, our taxpayer money is for the purposes of water, sewer, streets, police protection, fire protection. That's what we budget. We don't budget for immigration. As a matter of fact, if you look at our budget, there's not a single cent that says immigration issues. So it's been laid on our lap, and it's something we don't want, we don't need, and we shouldn't have. So we keep on telling our president, our Congress, our senators, look, take care of the issues. It's not a municipal issue. Now, and of course now we get the state issues about our governor talking about border walls now. So it just messes things up a little bit more.
Well, you've always been a big proponent of our first responders and talking about how what the service that they provide for our community, both our firefighters and police officers. And certainly one of your favorite things to say is McAllen is the 7th safest city in the nation. Correct. And so that is something that is important, but we'll look to your leadership for helping to negotiate and balance this delicate issue that we continue to deal with in a very compassionate way. That is probably the only thing that is the right thing to do while they're here in our community. And
it is the right thing to do. It doesn't matter whether they're here. We don't get into the issue of whether they're here legally or illegally. Our position is that we're trying to make everybody safe. And it is a delicate position. We understand. We don't know, at least I don't know the reasons that they're coming. We have some ideas, but ultimately, the individual reasons we don't know. And yes, we have a great police force that has assisted us, not only with the immigration issues, but throughout. And actually, I'm very happy to announce that I think we have reached an agreement, a collective bargaining agreement with the police officers that we should hopefully be announcing actually we have, but signing pretty soon. So we're very proud to be the 7th safest city, and not just the state, the whole country. We got to remind people about that.
That is important. And of course, those are national issues that McAllen deals with, our city government deals with, simply because of our proximity and our close relationship with the federal law enforcement agencies here as they do their job of keeping our nation and border secure. But closer to home, back home here in McAllen, What are you focusing on? One of the big things is, of course, beautification of Bicentennial Boulevard. Tell me about that. What is your idea, your plan for this?
When I was running, one of the things I used to tell people, look, one of the first things I want to do, and I guess it might not seem too important, but it is to me, as you cross I-2 on Bicentennial, the very first thing you see, it's kind of an older neighborhood, older dilapidated residences, and that's the first thing people see when they come from out of town. And we're trying to change the perception of McAllen. McAllen is a beautiful, vibrant city, and we don't want somebody that comes to visit, we don't want for that to be the very first thing we see. So we've been taking a look at what we could possibly do. I don't know whether a noise barrier or maybe just more shrubs, more greenery. But that's one thing we've already started. But there's a lot of projects we want to do. That's just one immediate one. But there's a lot of things to do.
And sometimes those easy fixes and those visual projects that you can see the results of help spur other projects. I know one of those things that you are looking to rejuvenate as well is downtown McAllen as well as South McAllen.
Correct. That's very important. As a matter of fact, I was just in the downtown area last week. It's amazing the amount of taxpayer money that is generated through the downtown area. I mean, we always think about the mall. We think about different areas, but the downtown area is just bustling with business. It's amazing. People all over the place, in and out, buying, purchasing. But then you look at the downtown area, and it needs a little bit of a makeup.
Needs a little bit of love, right?
Maybe a little, quite a bit of love. And I started talking with some of the business owners, and so hopefully we're going to meet pretty soon and get some ideas as to what we can do. One of the things I've been talking about is, like, we have Refresh McAllen, but unfortunately, I think we funded very little. I think there's maybe a few $100,000. So budget time's coming. So we're hoping that we can pick it up to at least $1 million, $2 million on Refresh. And when that happens, now you have the business owners or the property owners that should hopefully not just a few stores, but hopefully quite a few. If they're interested, we can beautify it. Once we beautify it, other areas will want to do the same. So it's just one of those things that once you do something, hopefully you have the domino effect, you have different people coming. So that's something that's very important.
Exactly.
But not only Refresh, we're also looking at hopefully assisting more small business. We've always talked about it, but we don't. We're always trying to bring in the big boxes, the big companies, and that's fantastic. We're always going to try. But we're also looking to hopefully pick up some funding, either grants, loans, or something for the small business. Either if they're coming, startups, or if somebody's having issues, we can always take a look at it.
Well, that's really great, and that's that tie that we're saying that visual improvement spurs more development and further improvements. And just for anyone who's not familiar, Refresh McAllen is a program that we have that is funded for our local businesses to revitalize their storefronts. So certainly that is great news if we can increase that funding, because then, of course, more businesses can take advantage of that. And that's something that McAllen is known for. It's entrepreneurial spirit and it's mom and pop shop. So certainly, I'm sure there's a lot of business owners and the different business organizations in town very excited to see if that is able to come to fruition. That would impact so many neighborhoods more than just downtown.
It would, and I think we have a pretty good commission that I think hopefully they realize, they'll understand that, look, we're at a point where we were very low because of COVID. We lost a lot of small businesses, and some survived, barely. And if we can help them, I think we should. And I think the rest of the commissioners will agree.
Well, I think one of those things that brings growth or business development is it comes with growth. And so one of the things that you're looking to do is the extension of Sherry Road to Tres Lagos. And why is that so important for North McAllen?
North McAllen, I think we all know, we're kind of semi-landlocked except to the northwest, which is the Tres Lagos area. And right now, Tres Lagos is growing and doing very well. However, you have Ware Road, and that's about it. Everything going to Tres Lagos, everybody goes through Ware Road, and that's it. Ware Road, we're going to start construction probably in about a year. And that construction is probably going to last about a year, because they already finished over here in the south Ware Road. Then they're going to go to Tres Lagos area and then come back to the middle. I think something we're looking at in conjunction with County Commissioner Javier Villalobos and Eli Torres, and of course the city and hopefully TxDOT, is the expansion of Sherry Road from 107 all the way to Tres Lagos. Because in Tres Lagos, it's already from Tres Lagos to Montecristo. If we can do that, not only will it assist in the transportation with traffic, but it will spur development of the area and the way we want it. We throw the trunk line, we do that, and then development comes.
That's really important to be able to provide residents and businesses here in McAllen with additional north-south arterials to help them get through the city. And of course, as the city grows to the north, because as you say, we are landlocked, that would be really important to be able to just continue to develop McAllen the way the rest of the city is. And of course, with that, it's going to need first responder service and fire protection. And so if we are able to extend that road, then that would be the development of possibly a future fire station?
Well, whether we develop it or not, I think it's very important that we provide the fire protection to our residents in the north. We've been looking, or at least thinking about, I believe it's fire station number 8. And I think we can find the funding, or I'm sure we can, to start even before, even in conjunction with or before we even do Cherry Road. And I think that's something that's very important, and a lot of times people don't even think about it. But that will help with their, of course, fire protection and, of course, their insurance rates. People don't even think about that, but that's something that's very important.
Well, and it'll certainly assist that response time of our amazing McAllen firefighters who also keep our community safe and secure in responding to whatever emergencies that may be in that area. So these are all really great ideas and big project ideas about growing McAllen in different ways. But one of the things that we continue to deal with every year as we continue to see as it rains is drainage. And that is especially impactful in North and South McAllen. What do you want to do to help address some of that?
Well, and you know what? Drainage is one of the things that you don't see. We've done 30-something projects. I'm sure you will recall, or the public will recall, in 2018, we had about 2,800 homes that flooded. We passed a bond, a $20 million bond. We were able to do 30-something projects. Last year in Hurricane Hanna, after it rained quite a bit, we only had about 200 homes that flooded. Now, after that, about 40-something homes were in Ware Ridge, which is right on Ware Road and just north of Auburn, or 5 Mile Line. Well, one of the projects that unfortunately was a little late has just been completed. So just 2 weeks ago, we had about 6 inches of rain, and we were fortunate that that area now was that drainage project was able to alleviate all the issues they used to have. But something else happened. Now, some water from the south went over Auburn, so we're trying to figure out what happened. But at least those 40-something houses were protected now. So we're hoping that with what we've done and what we're still doing, it's really going to help us. But at the very end, and this is something that's very important for people to understand, we can have perfect drainage in McAllen. But if the rest of the cities around or the main canals are not kept properly, we're going to back up, and we can't do anything. Just last month, we had the issue in Tres Lagos. People were like, what's going on? It was starting to flood. And so we started looking at it, and we realized that the issue was on McCall Road, about 6-7 miles to the east.
So it had nothing to do.
Correct. It had nothing to do with Tres Lagos or the city of McAllen. It was the canal that was clogged up down south. So we need to make sure that our county is always at it, making sure that we take care of the issues. Now, something else that's very important to know, and a lot of people don't know, is that everything flows east. Okay? So in order for it to flow east, Willacy County and Cameron County have to flow first. And so we've been talking to different entities, different cities, the county, and also with the state about expanding or widening all the canals all the way through Willacy and Cameron. And if that happens, that'll really help us out a lot.
I think that's one of the most interesting aspects of the drainage issues that affect the entire Rio Grande Valley. We are a flat area, and like you said, it all flows east. And so my neighborhood was one of those that flooded. Fortunately, my house didn't, but it was, it was a lake in the area. But with these drainage projects in McAllen, that has not been as much of an issue. I know I mentioned it to you when you were my commissioner, but I think what I've admired is the leadership of McAllen working with the other municipalities and the counties, and now you're seeing that it doesn't even stop at the border of Hidalgo County, but it extends beyond, and that's something that McAllen has always taken the leadership on for regional issues that affect the entire community, not just McAllen, not just Hidalgo County, and so that's something that I think will impact 1 million residents if that is able to be solved. Are there any other regional issues that you want to take the leadership on as well?
The most important one right now is going to be the drainage. We've met with different mayors, different commissioners, and that's one of the issues that everybody always talks about. Just last week, if you look at Mercedes, look at Westlaco, they started flooding, and it has to do of course, with the issues in the canals, but a lot of it is the municipalities themselves. They don't have the sufficient funding to do what we've been able to do here in McAllen. But little by little, the most important thing is going to be the main canals. If you can drive the water out as soon as possible, then everything can start flowing in.
Well, Mayor Villalobos, it seems like you have quite a platform and quite a bit of projects that you want to tackle in just what, your first 6 months? We've got you for 4 years and hopefully longer, but you've got enough projects here to last at least for this first year. Anything else you want to talk about or tackle as mayor for McAllen?
That is just going to be the beginning. Of course, I always talked about the South. We need to pick up the South, and what I mean is about beautifying the South, making sure we enforce more, make sure code enforcement enforces, because you go out to the neighborhoods, and it's nice areas, but they're not taken care of. But they're not taken care of a lot, not by the city, but by the residents themselves. We have a lot of parked cars in the front yard, and a lot of people don't like that, yet it's not being enforced. I think it's something we need to start enforcing. We're starting something a little different. If you go to South McAllen, a lot of the homes have chain link fences. And it used to be more because of crime, but I don't think we have those issues yet. So we're talking to different people about, hey, let's modernize your home. Start one. Take a picture before and after where you start changing the chain link fence and making it more kind of where at the beginning of the house or a little bit further, clean up the front yard, and then take a picture again, see the difference it does. And once again, we're hoping the domino effect. Once we start doing 1, 2, the other people will start. Because that's one of those things that, I mean, having chain link fence in the front, it's kind of something that's a little more dated, and people don't really do that anymore, but it's also a little difficult to just remove it and have nothing else. So it's going to be like a little pilot project, and we're going to try it and see how it goes.
Do you envision any city municipal funds that's either in a loan or grant for homeowners to be able to make these changes?
And actually that's not very expensive. I had made a call to Keep McAllen Beautiful and see if they'd be interested in assisting, having a group. Look, let's try one home. You have a few people, you can do it pretty quick. One of the things we need to do is, of course, and because it's a little more old-fashioned, having a lot of pots and pans and stuff up front, and it makes a house look a little more cluttered. Remove it, fix it up, and I think people will start realizing that's the way to go.
Well, Mayor, it seems like you have quite a bit of projects to tackle coming into your administration here. So we want to thank you so much for stopping by.
Certainly.
We're going to be looking at all these projects, as are the residents as well. I'm sure they're going to be calling you, especially.
They already are.
As you've been talking about them and then with this program. And so we're really excited to have you. We're looking forward to you hosting your next meeting with the mayor, with your community leaders to talk about those issues important to you. And in the meantime, we encourage all of our viewers to continue to watching right here, MCN 1300, and all of our streaming platforms for all of our programs. Mayor, thank you so much for stopping by. For the City of McAllen, I'm Xochitl Mora.